Hey, what is up? Welcome to the project issue section. In this section, we're going to look at all those different things that can go wrong during a project. And there's a lot of different stuff that can go wrong, and we should expect some stuff to get off track. If we're planning to have perfect projects where the client sends us absolutely everything we need on time, there's zero issues, nothing goes wrong, then we're not planning for reality because things do happen in projects. It's not a perfect process. We can definitely have systems in place to make it hopefully as good as possible, but things come up, things get a little bit off track. The client has some issues, we have some issues. We need to resolve this. We need to get things back on track, moving forwards to get the best results possible and not get stuck in projects for weeks or for months longer than they need to be. So in this section, we're going to look at how to do that. How can we communicate effectively through email to get things back on track, get the project going back in the right direction, make sure the client is happy that we're getting what we need to succeed to get the best results, and then the project goes as well as possible. So to kick things off, just in this quick training, I want to give you 3 general tips that I've used over the years. Once we get these out of the way, you can jump into the different scenarios. Okay, tip number 1, be proactive. This is a huge piece of advice. It's something I've used as much as I can in my business because I just know that it goes the best way possible. When there's an issue, when there's a problem, if you've messed something up, if you've spotted something, if there's some kind of challenge or problem that you're going to have to talk to the client about, do it as soon as you can. Do it as soon as it makes sense. There's no point trying to sit on problems, hide problems, ignore problems. And I've seen a lot of freelancers, a lot of agency owners do this. Something goes wrong and they just freeze. They're like, I don't want to tell the client this is a bad situation. And then they just get stuck. Like time passes by, a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and nothing's getting done, but they don't want to bring up this issue. And that's just not going to help this scenario. So when you see something that needs to be talked about, when you see a problem, when you see a challenge, you know you're going to have to bring it up with the client. You're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to address it, send an email, get on a call, whatever it is. Just do it as soon as you can. Just get the pain out of the way, address the situation, and just get it done because it is going to have to be done eventually. You can't hide some of these problems and you shouldn't have that mindset. You should be proactive. Just get into it, get it done, address it, and get things back on track. And this rolls into point number 2, accept responsibility. If it is your fault, if it's something that you messed up, if it's something you could have done better, if you could have had better systems in place, better clarity, better communication, then accept that and show the client that you get it, that you will try and improve, that you are genuinely trying to make things as good as possible. And then also accept responsibility for next time. How do you improve this on the next project? How do you avoid this on the next project? How do you keep dialing in your business, keep dialing in your systems, keep dialing in your process so that your business can keep improving? You can be worth more money, you can be getting better results, making your clients happier. That all starts with accepting responsibility. If you deny responsibility, so something goes wrong and you say, whatever, the client should have done that, not my problem. Oh, I don't, I'm overworked, I'm underpaid. Okay, you're not going to get anywhere though because you're not looking at how to improve. You're not accepting responsibilities for those different things. So it's hard to do this, but this is what you have to do to progress your business. Look at what you could have done better. Look at what your business could be doing better, your systems, your processes, communications, all these different things, and just accept responsibility when it is your responsibility. And I would argue it kind of always is your responsibility because this is your project. You're the person that people are coming to. Point number 3, set your standards. Look, if you don't have standards in your business, if you're going to allow people walk all over your business, do whatever they want, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Think of different restaurants. Think of a real fancy, elegant restaurant. You got to be on the waiting list for a couple of weeks. You get in there, you're going to be looking your best. You're going to be behaving your best. You're going to be very, very conscious and careful about how you're doing everything. Now think of McDonald's on a Saturday night after the nightclub closes. People are going in there doing whatever they want. They're throwing burgers. They're, getting sick in the corner. There's no standards. Nobody cares. The place is an absolute mess. This is how it is with your business as well. You can let people come in and do whatever they want and just go crazy, or you can set the tone. You're a proper business with proper standards. You're a professional. You want to help your clients. You love your clients. You want to do the best that you can, but you do it in this way. This is how your business runs. This is how you expect your clients to show up. When you have that attitude and you dial it in over time, your clients are going to get better and better. They're going to be people who want to work with you because they see you care about your business, they care about their business, and they want to work with the best. And these bad clients, these terrible clients, they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to go to the people that they can run all over and do all this nonsense because they know that's the only sort of people that are going to accept that sort of behavior. So you get the clients you deserve. That starts with setting your own standards and then enforcing your own standards. And this isn't about being, a dictator and being crazy and being really aggressive with people. No, it's just being professional, showing people, hey, if you work with me, this is how we do it. This is what I expect. This is what I'm going to give you. And this is what I expect from you to get the best results possible. It's polite, but it's firm, it's professional, and people respect it. The right sort of clients respect it. So that is it for the intro of this training. Let's now jump into the different scenarios, see what different strategies and approaches we can use. And then of course, let's look at the email templates themselves. So that's it for the intro. Catch you in the different scenarios. Okay, trying to land new projects when you're fully booked. Now, I've seen a lot of freelancers over the years basically turn down paying work because they're like, well, I got some projects going on right now. I don't have space, so I can't accept these new projects. That's not the case. Look, a lot of business owners are happy to wait a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months to work with you, especially if they've heard about you, if you have a good reputation, if they feel like you're the person for them, they might likely wait. So what we want to do is basically tell them what is the scenario. Hey, we're busy right now. We got some projects going on right now, but that's okay. You just hold on here for a while and we will be able to work with you. We will be able to get these sort of results or whatever it is that they're after. Now, what you also want to do is not just say that. You want to also get them on a call, close this deal, get a deposit, lock it in. Because if you don't, time goes by, maybe they change their mind, something else comes up, someone else comes along, whatever it is. So we don't have to work with them right now, but we do want to get paid right now. And this is the email you want to send. Basically tell them, hey, I'm busy, but that's okay. I can work with you soon. You tell them when. In the meantime, let's talk, let's lock in this deal, find out what you want, and let's get things going. And this is nice in their mind because they're like, oh yeah, we can get ready for when this project is ready. And this is in the template, but you're telling them, let's get this locked in so we can start to prepare. We can start to get ready. You can start to send me maybe some information, these sort of things, as long as you have that deposit. So basically send over this template, see if they are interested in waiting a little bit. If they are, jump on a call, do the sales conversation, lock in the deal, and then you can do any prep work so that you're fully ready to go when you actually do have time to start the project. So hope this helps. Best of luck. Okay, increasing project budget. Sometimes we set a budget, we close the deal, we think all is well, then we start the project and we realize, whoa, there's a lot more work here than I thought there was. I didn't price this correctly. So what do? We don't panic, we don't freak out. We contact the client using this template and basically let them know, hey, we're still keen here to get you good results, still definitely possible, but we need to have a conversation, or we at least need to go back and forth here and just figure out a new budget to make this possible. There's a lot more work than we thought there was, and here's what we need to adjust and why. And keep in mind, always make this from their point of view. Why should they increase the budget? Because really they have to do what it is that they're trying to do. Why did they hire us in the first place? Let's focus on that. They want these problems solved. They want these sort of results. They want this sort of outcome. Cool, still possible, but here's the new budget that we need to have to make it happen basically. So use this template, send it over, get a conversation going. Sometimes if it's a cool client, there's a lot of trust and they're okay, it can all happen through email. Sometimes you're going to have to get on a call, discuss it, kind of resell the deal a little bit. But much better to do this at the start when clients can definitely see that you're being honest and open about what's going on, than it is kind of halfway through the project when you're like, oh, and we need all this extra money because I knew all along that it wasn't enough. So it's better to do this as early as possible. If you need to adjust it later, I'll show you how to do that as well. But when you spot it early, contact the client using this template, let them know, have that conversation, have that discussion, and increase the budget to where you think it needs to be to get them the sort of results that they hired you to get them. So hope this helps. Best of luck. Okay, so sometimes you want to increase the project budget, but you're working hourly. So basically you agree to work hourly. You said, hey, it's probably going to take this amount of hours. But then when you start the work, you start to quickly notice, whoa, actually, we're going to need a lot more hours to do what we're trying to do here. So what do? You send them this template, basically let them know the situation. Hey, this is what's going on. Here's how I priced it originally. Here's what I thought the situation was. Now, here's what I see the situation is. Here's what we're going to need to get the sort of results that you're after. And you just get approval basically so that they know what is up. They're still paying you the same amount. It's just more work because you've discovered that it's a bigger problem than initially thought. This is totally fine. In other industries, this happens all the time. You get in like an electrician into your house. They think it's going to cost X amount. They tell you this is the estimate. Then they start working and they figure out, oh, there's a lot more work here. There's a lot more damage. We're going to have to do X, Y, Z. and the budget goes up. So a lot of people in other industries expect and are okay and see this kind of thing all the time. I think a lot of freelancers though don't realize that this is possible, and they kind of suck it up and they end up doing all this extra work and not even get paid to do it. So don't do that. Get paid to do the work that you're doing, and just communicate it well with clients. Hey, I thought it was going to cost this much, but now I see this is the scenario. Here's what we have to make. Here's the new estimate. Are you okay with that? And pretty much most clients will be, because you're communicating well and you're explaining the situation well. So use this template. Hope it goes well. Best of luck. Okay, sometimes you're working on a project and not only is the budget wrong, but the whole scope is wrong. You just basically didn't realize what exactly was the situation. You said the plan was going to be one thing, you said the price was going to be another thing. Then you get into the actual project and there's all this extra stuff, there's all this extra work, and both the scope and the price are now totally off where they should be. So what you do, you don't panic first off. You just basically let the client know this is the situation. You're most likely going to need a phone call, but send this template first, fill it out, and then basically get that communication going. You just have to be upfront with the client. Hey, I thought this was going on. We made this plan, we made this price, but now when I look at this, here's what the situation is. And clients appreciate this because they don't understand these side of things as well as we do, or they will be doing this work themselves. So sometimes they think it was one way, but then it is another way, and we need to educate them. We need to show them the reality of the situation so we can adjust it and get things back on track. So if you're dealing with a good client, they'll be totally fine with this. But of course, you need to tell them, and you need to get this communication going and probably have a conversation and just be upfront with them. Just run through the details. This is what's going on. We thought it was this way. Here's this, new reality. Here's what that means. Here's the different parts. Here's what you want to do if you want to get that same result that we talked about, and just basically resell the project. Come up with a new plan, attach it to a new price, and then close the client on this new direction forwards. Most clients will be okay with this. You'll save the deal, you get it back on track. If not, if there's an issue, if they don't have the money or something, then just pick off a piece of this bigger project that you can do for now, price that separately, and then if possible, you come back later and you sell the rest of the project as they get more cash flow, as you get them results. So hope this helps. Put it into action. Best of luck. Okay, when you need more overall project direction. So sometimes you start a project and the budget was good, but as you get into the work, you realize, hold on, we haven't talked about a lot of this stuff with the client, and you're not so sure how to move forwards, exactly what to do. There's new parts of the project that you're after uncovering. There's some sort of problem that comes up that you don't quite know how the client feels about this. You've noticed something technical or something else that you need to discuss with the client to understand the direction to go forwards. So what you do, just communicate this with the client, get some answers, maybe get on a conversation, but at least get some emails going back and forth and figure out how the client feels about it, what's their input, what's their feedback, what's their suggestions, and then you got clarity on the project and you can get back into the work and start moving towards that result. So common trend here with all of these templates, good communication. We're being proactive, letting the client know, start the dialogue, figure out what's the new solution, what's the new direction, and then get back into it and start taking more action. So use this template, put it into action. I hope that it helps. Okay, so you need to request more project information. Pretty common scenario actually that comes up in the beginning of the project. You request a certain amount of information, content, access, input, whatever it is, and then throughout the project, you just need some more information. You just doing a section, or you're doing some part of the project or some different stage, and you didn't ask all the questions you should have at the start of the project. No worries. We basically just make a list of whatever it is that we need and we send it over to the client using this template. So again, very common, and like most things, you'll see this common trend. I like to be proactive. So when this comes up, I'm not going to sit in it. I'm not going to wait on it. I'm not going to delay a week or two. I'll just put it together, figure out exactly what I need, and just let the client know, hey, I need this information, trying to get the best results possible. This would really, really help. Can you send this over to me? And then maybe we jump on a call, or maybe they just email back and forth, or some Loom videos or whatever, but using this template to get it going and then figure out what's the best way to get that information. So hope it helps. Put it into action. Okay, needing an emergency call about the project. Unfortunately, sometimes in a project, something goes wrong that requires immediate input, immediate feedback, or a discussion with the client. We can't sit in it. We can't just send emails slowly back and forth. We need to talk directly to the client as soon as possible. This is a template to use when this happens. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating, it's annoying, but when it does happen, the best thing to do, send this sort of template, adjust it of course, and then get on that call as soon as possible and just clear the air with the client, see if you guys can come up with a solution together and get things back on track. So hopefully you don't have to use this, but when you do, it is here, and I hope it helps you to just get through the situation as quickly as possible, resolve whatever problem it is, and then you're back in the clear and you can get back to taking action in the project. Okay, scope creep for existing clients. This is probably the number one requested email template for this section. Super annoying when clients just start sending us a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different ideas, suggestions, extra plans, and they're not in the original plan, not in the original project, definitely not in the original budget. So what do? We use this template and we quickly try nip it in the bud and just let them know, hey, I see what you're saying. I see these extra ideas, these changes you have, these extra things that you want, but these aren't included in what we talked about. So we can do them and add in an extra price, or we can leave them and just go back to the plan. Which do you prefer? And either way, we kind of win, because if they don't want to do it, we're back to the original plan. If they do want to do it, we're now making extra money and we got some extra project work, which is nice. So use this template when that comes up, send it. If there is issues, I have other templates in here on how to deal with that as well. So hope this helps, put it into action. Best of luck. Okay, so client requests outside project scope. Very common scenario here. We kind of have one or two other templates that deal with this in different ways. In this approach, we're looking at trying to use what the client's suggesting and direct them into two different ways. One is they pay us hourly for these extra changes or suggestions or ideas that they have. The other one is maybe we actually have a breakout project that we can have a discussion about. We can price it completely separately, and it's just now an extra project, extra budget, more work and more money for us. So instead of trying to deal with these changes and include it with the original project and trying to do all this extra work and not getting paid, we just give them these two options: hourly work, extra project. Which do you prefer? And there's kind of a third implied option here, which is they don't actually pay for either and we just go back to the original plan. So you have those three different options. And in each case, you're winning because you're either making more money for more work, or you're just sticking with the original plan and making the money that you've already agreed upon. So use this when it comes up. Very handy email template to just nip it in the bud, get it back on track, and either get paid extra or just stick with what you already have, which is totally fine. So that's it. Use this template when it comes up. Hope that it goes well. Okay, the client trying to add free stuff to the project. Let's have a little heart to heart here for a second. You're running a business and a business has to be profitable. Otherwise, there's no point in running it. Just go get a job or something. So look, obviously you do want to be running a business. So what do we need to do? When the client wants extra free stuff, you can sometimes maybe throw stuff in. If it's a really good client, it's a big project and you're just happy to throw in a little bit of extra something for free. Okay, but a lot of the time, just charge them for stuff. Imagine you go to a restaurant and I order the steak, but then I want a cheesecake and then I want some extra fries and then I want an extra lemonade. The restaurant isn't going to start just throwing in free food because the steak costs a lot of money. They're going to add all this stuff up and they're going to charge me at the end plus table service plus a fee plus tax, whatever. They're making sure that they're getting covered for every separate thing that I order to that table. Same at you in any project. If the client comes along and starts adding in extra stuff, they want extra little things, they want this little extra job done. Fine, yeah, that's cool. Let's add it to the total. Let's make our business profitable. Let's keep the project making sense for us as a business. So use this template when it comes up. Don't be scared to charge for extra things that clients want. Don't just keep adding stuff into the same project. You're just losing your profitability every time you do that. It's more work. You're getting paid the same amount. So that means you're making less because you're doing all that extra work. And that's just not good for your business. It doesn't make any sense. So the client wants extra stuff. Cool. Use this template to tell them how much it's going to be. If they want to do it, they pay. Perfect. If they don't, you go back to the original plan, which is totally fine as well. So hope this helps. I kind of more wanted to get this mindset into you. You're a business. Charge for the work that you do. Charge for every bit of work that you do. And don't just keep adding in free stuff because you want to please the client or something. That's not how you can run your business. And the client has to respect that and understand it. And this template will show you how to do that. So hope it helps. Best of luck. Okay, sometimes you have a client who means well, but they're just sending way too many requests and too much communication and too many suggested changes. And especially in the beginning of the project, this can drive you absolutely nuts because instead of just making progress and figuring these things out at the end, you're stopping and starting, you're going back, you're changing things, you're discussing this little detail, and you're getting absolutely nowhere. So send this template when it comes up. This template is a little bit firm. It's not harsh, but it's definitely like, hey, here's how we're going to do things. But sometimes that's what you need to do with a client like this that just won't stop suggesting changes. So you can adjust this, of course, if you need to, but use something like this. And you're basically just telling them, hey, I hear what you're saying, and we can definitely address all of these, but let's do it at the end of the project so that we can keep making progress for now and keep the momentum that we have. A very logical approach that makes sense, because a project that keeps stopping and starting is not going to get anywhere. You have to do most of the work first and then do all the little cleanup things at the end of the project. Just makes the most sense. You get the best result. So that is it for this template. Use it when it comes up and really hope that it helps you out. Okay, we probably all had this scenario. The client has too many bad project ideas. They're suggesting stuff that you just think or know is not going to get the best result possible. So what do you do? Use this template. Basically let them know, hey, we can do this if you really, really insist, but not a good idea. Here's why it's not a good idea. Here's what I suggest instead. Now, we do want to be careful. We don't want to just run straight over their idea. Try and understand, where are they coming from? Why are they suggesting this? What is the end result that they want? So then we can change the way that we're trying to get there, and we can suggest the best way to get there. So use this, basically nip it in the bud a little bit, tell them, not the best idea. Here's why it's not such a good idea. And here's some other options that we can do this instead. Which of these options do you prefer? So we do have to step in. We are the expert when it comes to this part of their business. We're running this project. We're the person they hired to help us get them the best results. So when we feel that they're making a decision or a choice or a suggestion that's not in their best interest, we do have to let them know, and we have to get it back on track. So use this template to do so. Tell them the situation, give them some options, see which one they prefer, and if needed, maybe just have a phone call, discuss it, and explain your point of view and why you are making the suggestions you're making, and why their suggestions are maybe not so good, or exactly why it is a bad suggestion. And of course, do it professionally, but do show what you believe is the best course of action and explain it so your client understands. That's it for this video. Use this template when it comes up, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, late payments, super annoying. We obviously want to get paid for the work that we've done. Now that we've done the work, where's their money basically? So if they're not paying, what do we want to do? General approach, you start soft. General approach, you start soft and then you dial it up. So you start with nice friendly reminders. Hey, the bill is missing. We haven't got paid. This deadline's coming up, or this deadline's already passed. We're now expecting payment. And then if you're still not getting paid over time, quite quickly, you start to ramp these up and you get a bit more firm, a bit more aggressive, and a bit more, hey, where's the money? You missed the deadline. If you don't pay it by this time, this is what's going to happen. Here's the extra fee, or here's the penalty, or whatever it is. So one general thing to keep in mind here, and I know it's not covered in this section, but you do want to set the expectations at the start of the project. You either outline this in an email, or you say it on a phone call, or it's in your contract, or it's in whatever they sign, the invoice when they start the project. You want to be clear about how you're going to get paid towards the end of the project, or as you do the work. What is your payment plan? When should they be paying you? How much are they going to pay you? What happens if they don't pay you? How long of a delay until that action, the penalty and whatever it is, how long that happens after the missed payment, and so on. So you do want to have those expectations in place, but use this template at the end of the project, or whenever it is that you need payments. Send this over and then ramp up the pressure a little bit. Give them a little bit of time, but if they're still not responding, they're still not paying, then ramp up that pressure and start kicking in these different things that happen when they're not making payments, and do your best to basically just get paid. It is what it is. You sometimes do have to put a little bit of pressure. Keep it in mind, of course, if a client is particularly bad at paying you, then of course don't work with them again, and just leave it at that once you do finally, hopefully, get paid. So that's it for this scenario. Hope it goes as well as possible. It's always quite an annoying situation, but hopefully these templates make it as easy as possible to get paid. Okay, project feedback needed to move forward. So of course, we know the scenario here. You're going through the project, you've done some work. You want to make sure it's all good before you move on, so that the client approves it and you don't have to come back to it later. Use these templates to ask for that feedback. Maybe this is early in the project, maybe this is later, maybe this is at the very end. You can just adjust this template for your particular scenario. Use this template, and then if they don't give you feedback, I have some follow-up emails that you can send here also to make sure that you get that feedback that is needed. So whenever you need feedback, come to this template, adjust it as needed, send it out. You have the follow-up emails if also needed, and hopefully you get that feedback quite quickly. You're back on track and you can move to the next stage, or you can finish the project if you're at the end. So hope this template works, hope it helps. That's it. Best of luck, put into action. Okay, final project phase feedback. This is a little different than the other feedback template. In this one, we have a very specific goal. This is when you complete a major part of the project and you do not hopefully want to come back to this later. You want to make sure that the client fully agrees that this part of the project is done, so that when you move on, they accept that you locked in those changes, and if you do have to go back, that you'll be charging the client extra to do so. So use this template when that is the scenario, when you're after doing a certain part of the project that you do not want to be coming back to later. Send this and make sure that the client agrees, they are fully happy with this, they like the work, they accept the work, they agree that this stage, this phase is now completed, and then you can move on. And if it comes up, if the client tries to change something later, you now have this that you can rely on to say, hey, we already agreed on this, we already locked this in, so we can go back to it, but that means changing a lot of things now that we've moved forwards, and that's going to cost you this amount of money, or this is how you're going to do it, hourly or whatever it is that you're going to charge them. So use this template when it comes up, when you want to lock in some changes in a phase, in a stage, so that when you move forwards, you don't want to be coming back to this, or if you do come back, you're going to get paid to do so. So that's it. Check out the template. Best of luck. Okay, last round of revisions. This is a really good template to use when you are in the last round of revisions, because if you don't tell them and they don't know, or they just forgot, then when it comes to the next round of revisions, you have this really annoying, awkward situation. They're after sending over some changes, some revisions, and you have to let them know you're not getting any more rounds. So if you want these extra things, now you got to pay. So much better to do that before that's needed. Do it on the last round of revisions, letting them know, hey, the future changes that you send here will be the last changes, the last revisions included in the original budget. That way they send everything and then hopefully it's over. But if they do come back with more later, then it's very clear that they're going to have to pay for this, and you avoid that awkward situation, that maybe frustration on the client's behalf. So use this template when it is the last round of revisions. You're telling them in advance that, okay, send me whatever changes you have left, tell me what else you need to adjust with this project, but this is the last round of revision. So when you do this and I do it, that's it. And now we've completed our agreement with the original terms, with the original budget. So make sure to do this. Maybe they won't have any more changes, absolutely fine. But if they do, now you're guaranteeing that you're going to get paid for those extra changes, because it's very, very clear that they already used up their last round of revisions. So that's it. I think I've over explained this, but anyway, jump into this template, use it as you're getting through those revisions, and this thing is going to make sure that you get paid for all those extra changes that the client might have, which is exactly what you want for your business, for your time and your energy. So that's it. Best of luck. Okay, missing project deadlines. So a lot of these different templates we've looked at is when the client is kind of messing up, or we're trying to avoid them messing up. But in this particular scenario, this is where we've actually messed up a little bit. We've realized, at a certain stage that we're not going to meet the original deadline that we set. When we closed the project, we would have mentioned a certain week or day or month or date, whatever it is. And now it's coming up to that time, we're like, oh, we're actually probably not going to get this done when we said that we would. So what do we do? Back to our kind of core philosophy here. We accept responsibility, we're proactive, we say it up front, and we just get straight down to the point. We let the client know, hey, we're going to miss this deadline. And then we do these other things here in the template. We give the reason, we give some clarity, we tell them what's now going to happen next, and hopefully how we can make it up to them and still get the results that they're after. So use this template when it comes up. Don't try and hide from it. Don't, this isn't school. We don't wait till the day of the exam or the day of the homework to say we don't have it. Address this as early as possible. When you know you are going to miss the deadline, send this over, address it, own it, show the client you accept responsibility, and then show them what you're now trying to do to get things back on track. And then if possible, give them a new deadline, and then do your best, obviously, to commit and make that new deadline you're going to get it done before then. So use this template when it comes up. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but if it does happen, template's here if you need it. Okay, letting clients know about a holiday. Look, we're real people too. We're not just freelancing robots who work all year long and don't need any time off. So we're going to have some holidays, and chances are we're going to have some clients while we want to have some holidays. So what do? We communicate in advance that we're taking a bit of time off, and we use this template to basically send that information and show them what's going to happen. Now, sometimes you might have a team in place or you have someone else that can help them out in the meantime. Sometimes you don't, and that's totally fine. You just let them know, hey, I'm going on holidays throughout these days. I'm not going to be available. Here's what's happening with your project. During the holiday, nothing's going to happen, but here's what's happening before the holiday. Here's what's happening afterwards. Here's what to expect. We're still going to get these results. We're still going to meet our deadline. No reason for you to worry. The most important thing here, like always, communicate in advance. Be proactive. Accept responsibility isn't really applicable here, but be proactive, communicate well, and just be okay with this. Every business on the planet basically goes on holidays. No one's working 365 days a year. We're normal people. This is to be expected. So we just communicate this in advance, tell them what's up. It is what it is. As long as we're not messing up some deadlines, and as long as we haven't promised that we'll be available every day and then we're not, there's nothing to be worried about. This is normal. Clients accept it. We just need to communicate it in advance so they know what is up. We go on our holidays, we enjoy our holidays, we come back, we get back into our work, we get our clients the results that we promised. So don't feel guilty, I guess, is the main message that I'm trying to get here. You're a person, go enjoy yourself. This template will help you to do it by communicating clearly in advance so the clients know what to expect. So enjoy your holidays. If you are going on holidays, use this template when you need to and have some fun away from your business. Come back, and then you can get back into doing your best work. All right, firing a client. I don't know if you've already done this, but if you haven't, maybe this seems kind of crazy. You're like, fire a client? I don't want to ever fire a client. But sometimes projects go bad. Sometimes they get stuck. Sometimes you start working with someone who seems like they were a good fit. They were normal, they were professional, and then throughout the project, it just turns into a disaster for whatever reason. And let's not throw blame here, but you get to a scenario where you know it's time to go separate ways. This client, for whatever reason, is going to be better off doing it by themselves or hiring someone else, and you're definitely going to be better off not working with them. So what do? You might have to adjust this template a little bit depending on your different scenario and what stage you're at and how the payments are working. But in general, you're cutting the cord. You're letting them know, just like a relationship, hey, I'm out of this. Best of luck, but this isn't going any further. So use this template when this is the scenario. If you know that you need to split ways, just like everything else here, we're going to be direct, we're going to be proactive, we're just going to get it done. There's no point sitting in a bad situation. And I've seen this with other freelancers, weeks, months, working with a client they don't want to be working with, but they just don't know how to break up and go separate ways. If you know you got to do it, you just got to do it. Use this template to get it started and just split. And you don't need to over talk about it. You don't need to drag it out for weeks or for months. Just give them what they need, figure out the best way to just end the contract, get out of the deal, send them on their way the best that you can, and then stop communicating. You move on, you find better clients that are treating you better, you get back into different projects that you much prefer to be doing. So use this template when it comes up. Sometimes you just have to fire clients. It is what it is. That's just the game of business. And when it happens, hopefully this template helps. So wish you all the best. Tricky situation, but just do what's right for you, for your mental health, for your business, for your focus, your energy. If you need to part ways, you got to do it. Use this template.